I've got an actual ending screen for my versus mode. Hey everybody, welcome to day 25 of the Rogue Tanks devlog. I'll show you what I've got and then I'll get into a little bit of the code. You'll notice here that I've got 5 wins out of 6. So if I get one more, then it'll end. And this is what will happen. So I've got a little victory jingle that goes on. It shows player 1 wins, our total wins score here, our end stats. It's basically like the regular status screen for game over, but I've got it here for the end of versus mode. And so after clicking here, it just sends you back to the title screen. Similarly with the campaign, if I come in here and I just get defeated, I mean, there's no jingle, but it does have a game over now. It says this text here instead of just the rooms and time. So basically, when you beat the campaign now as well, there will be a similar screen, and it will have a jingle, like the versus mode ending. Up here, it'll just say like victory and stuff. I also have all of the achievements coded in. I've got all the different beating the game conditions coded in, and I'll show you how I did that. First of all, the win jingle. So that right up here. It's funny, I've got it all tied to losing the game. So, because it was already coded in that when you lose the game, it shows the status screen and then it takes you back to the title screen after you click or press confirm in some way. So what I've got here is in the victory conditions, if you're in versus mode, and it awards points, and then if somebody's points gets to the win end condition for any one of the 4 players, then you update the stats, which is something that already happens whenever a player dies and whenever they pick their upgrades. But if it's the end, you don't do the upgrade step, so it skips the upgrades and it updates the stats and then it destroys all players. And then it exits, so it skips everything else down here. Basically, at that point, it'll realize, hey, all the players are dead, so lose condition. The lose condition already, the way it was coded previously, has a priority over the win condition. So if it realizes that all the players are gone, it'll act as if they lost and it'll go into displaying the status screen. And then from there, you'll go to the title screen. So with a draw step, if not versus mode, meaning you're in the campaign, and if room number is 20, meaning that you've beaten 20 rooms, which means you've beaten the boss of the game, it'll then say like victory, congratulations, or if it's anything less than that, it'll be game over. But if it is versus mode, down here, it checks who won, it's checking the variable wins end, like wins player 1, do they match that, or wins player 2, or player 3, or player 4, then it'll say that player won. And down here it has how many wins each player had. And there's always going to be at least 2 players in versus mode, so those are just coded in like that, but 3 and 4 check if number of players is at least 3 or 4 before displaying those wins. Back up here in the lose section, if the players lose, which is basically going to be ending the game, if room is final boss and there's no enemies, meaning you beat the final boss, or if you're in versus mode and you lose, meaning you can't really lose versus mode, like there's never a situation where all the tanks are destroyed unless it's that condition where somebody reached all the number of wins, and in that case it's like quote lost, but not really, it's just like the end of the game. So this lose counter is kind of just a way of ending the game whether you win or lose, but it also is the main way that you lose the game if like you get game over in the campaign, but also is the way you end the game if you beat the game or if you win in versus mode. It then stops all audio and plays the fanfare sound, which does not loop. All the other music that I've put in is loop, so this part is true, where this is not going to loop, so it's going to be false. And from there, it has the usual code for going back to the title screen. If you got any other questions about stuff that I've implemented here, let me know in the comments below and I'll answer those questions or address them in a new video. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.